Augmented reality, or AR, is the technology of projecting images, graphics, and videos over top of the real world, like in the movies. And it actually exists today, but most of what we have is pretty unimpressive because the holy grail of AR is, of course, not pointing your phone at stuff and seeing graphics pop up through your phone's camera on your screen. That much would be obvious to anyone who's ever tried to do that for longer than a couple of minutes during a stage demo. The holy grail is integrating it into something that can be worn comfortably and ideally discreetly. But while many companies, some working privately like Magic Leap and others beating a drum about it like Microsoft, are pursuing head-mounted AR, the current solutions are bulky and very expensive. A HoloLens will set you back $3,000 US. Enter scrappy upstart Eyeglass. These guys claim that their display tech solves some of the biggest issues with waveguide AR displays, and that they can do it at 1/10 of the cost. And I'm actually about to get my first taste of their prototype. Oh, do you guys have PIA yet? Private Internet Access, the VPN? If you don't, we're gonna have it linked below. Go check it out. They're our sponsor today. Before I actually try this thing though, let's do a little bit of background. Who are these guys? So Sam Ewan actually worked at Microsoft from 2012 to 2016 on the original HoloLens team as a senior hardware engineer. So obviously he believes in AR and even HoloLens to some degree. It's an amazing piece of technology that uses cameras to track the environment around the user, letting him or her interact with the digital content. The problem with it though is that the screen is relatively small with about a 32-degree horizontal field of view. Not to mention that the color is inaccurate, white in particular is very difficult to display, and the waveguide type displays that are built into the lenses in front of each eye are about $2,000 total. That is 2/3 of the total cost of the base model on the two displays alone. So by contrast, Eyeglass believes that their tech could get closer to about $10 per eye or 20 bucks, 1% of the cost, which would make it easier to build an affordable device around it. So it uses what's called off-axis imaging. Instead of putting a light source perpendicular to your eye, so you're looking into a display directly with a backlight behind it, it actually puts the display and the backlight above the eye, so you can actually see that if I flip it up like this, and then it reflects it off a curved piece of glass. This makes it see-through, kind of like if you were wearing sunglasses, which means that you can see the world around you. It also gives you a field of view that is only limited by the size of the lenses, so our prototype here apparently offers an 80-degree field of view, and it can use either a normal LCD display or even an OLED display, or I mean, who knows, I guess a future display technology is not out of the question. Okay, so this is the part where I finally get to put it on, and Sam's gonna kind of help me with the demo here. So just a normal Velcro strap. It's very 3D printed at this point, guys, so we need to be very careful with it. Okay.
So, what do you saw?
So it looks like the image is probably about, I'd say about 10 feet in front of me right now. So now when I have content running on it, it is obviously harder to see through it. But like I can read my teleprompter right now, I can interact with Pella, but if I focus on that image that's about 12 feet in front of me, things start to kind of fade away.
Yes.
So without anything running on it, it's about as dark as I'd say my pretty dark sunglasses. It's kind of weird. It doesn't, because it's like sitting so close to your eyes, it doesn't feel like there's two lenses in front of you. So right now, I can really see the curvature of the glass. Like I can see a curve to the top of it, a curve to the bottom, and then it gets kind of like the shape gets kind of cut off here. But what Sam explained is that really any technology, any display technology that relies on a curved piece of glass is going to need processing done ahead of time to kind of pre-distort the image so that it ends up having those nice, those square corners that you would expect. Blacks and really dark colors are a little bit tough because those are obviously the display to the best of its ability being off, meaning that you see right through it. But white is actually surprisingly opaque. I mean, these are the same challenges that you run into with something like a projector, for example. That's why a dark room would be ideal. I mean, trying this in the dark, that would be trippy. Actually, can we kill the lights? Now that is really cool. Like if I was on a nighttime flight or something in a dark environment, like I could be convinced I'm looking at a really nice projector. So there's no reason then that you couldn't have effectively like a ceiling mounted giant display. So you guys are quoting this at what, about 120 inches at 12 feet-ish?
Right. Ours is probably twice or even higher than the typical VR device in terms of angular resolution.
Right. So I did guess right, it is 1080p per eye, but we're stretching it over a relatively small area compared to a VR headset, so it actually looks pretty fine. And it should be noted that Eyeglass has no intention of turning this prototype into a fully functional AR headset. What they're really focused on is developing the core technology, which is projecting the display into the viewer's eyes. So like on the business side, you guys are more looking for partners to take this display tech and then use whatever resolution they want,
yes,
and maybe external tracking cameras if they're into that,
right,
or whatever. You guys don't care.
Yes.
You're focused on these displays up here, the curvature of the lens, and then all the software that goes along with that.
Right.
Interesting. One thing I'm also noticing sitting here and using this is that compared to VR, even though the image is moving around, it's more like a virtual screen sitting in front that moves around. Like I'm not getting motion sick.
Right.
Why is that?
Because you can see the stable background.
So it's another trick of the brain that's helping with motion sickness. Now you get the best watching experience actually when even like you stabilize your head on something and the screen is very still. Because otherwise it's pretty easy to get distracted by things, the real world moving behind it. But whenever you do move, you do lose that immersion for a little bit. Like it's not as immersive as VR, and I don't foresee a future where it ever would be. But even though you lose that immersion a little bit, this serves a purpose because it also allows your brain and your eyes to work together to see the objects that are fixed around you and keep you from getting disoriented. So this is a purely 3D printed, serves no purpose other than to try the display tech thing. In order for me to see the content, I have to get
down, huh?
about here.
Yeah.
Like if you were watching porn right now, I wouldn't know until probably about here that there's like naked bodies.
Let's try something here because I have a Victoria's Secret. So
Okay.
let's give it a shot. Can you see the content?
Tell me what's happening.
That's definitely breasts. Yeah. So from there, yes. But if I'm any further away, I would have to be about here. Brandon, what you watching at work there?
Wow, I don't know. This is pretty cool though. What are they wearing? What the hell? It looks like she's wearing like part of a trash bag.
Well, it's better than the whole trash bag.
This is cool.
Pretty neat though, hey?
Yeah, it's actually surprisingly good.
So I have to get, to see what you're watching, I have to get about here.
Huh.
Colton, you want to try it?
It's pretty cool. I would love to.
It's AR.
I just want to know. I don't want to ruin it. Whoa!
What do you saw?
Hey yo! Oh hey there! How you doing? I'm a married man. Interesting. Okay. Like it's like a good image too.
Yeah, it's very sharp.
Yeah. Wow, and I can actually see the screen like really well.
So you could be working while you watch the Victoria's Secret
Oh, this is perfect.
show.
That's awesome. Hey.
I'm banning these. These aren't allowed in the office.
Come on, man. Come on. No, it's really cool. Like I do like the image quality. Like even compared to something like a Vive
way
or
cool.
whatever.
I
It's
actually like
crisp.
Yeah.
Like it's yeah.
So the way that they envision people using this is mobile entertainment. So you have privacy because nobody can see what you're watching unless they got like right under by your chin and looked up at your displays. The ability to have a bigger screen for entertainment on like a train or a bus or the plane. So this would be an alternative to listening to podcasts, for example. They foresee a use case where you could walk around on the street playing games or watching YouTube videos, but then without your head, either buried in a phone or, I mean, much more dangerous. I've never seen anyone doing this, but inside a VR headset, that would be super stupid. Or even just doing chores around the house, like watching a movie while you vacuum. I do have to say, I haven't personally witnessed the demand for these use cases yet. In all my travels, I have yet to see someone using a VR headset on a plane. So they did some studies internally asking people in a double-blind comparison to rate their experience in VR or AR, and they said that most people preferred AR. But I do wonder, is that a purely academic question, since I haven't yet seen people using either? I would like to hear your feedback. If you could have a 120-inch screen in a device this size that you could carry around with you, would you use it? And speaking of things that you might use, Ting does mobile phone service differently. There's no contracts, no overage fees, or any other carrier nonsense. You just pay a fair price for the talk, text, and data that you end up using each month. And with Ting, if you use less, you pay less. For example, if you're off and around Wi-Fi, why are you paying for a set monthly data plan? Ting gives you complete control over your cell phone account, so you can set alerts and caps for each device on your account to keep your usage in check, and you can even disable texting, calling, or mobile data entirely if you wish. Nationwide LTE coverage means you'll have great network coverage from coast to coast, and almost any phone will work with Ting. Starting with your ancient Motorola Razr that you've got sitting in your basement for some reason, all the way up to the latest Galaxy S9 or iPhone 10. So check your phone's compatibility right now at linus2018.ting.com, and when you go there, you can get $25 off your bill or towards a new phone in the Ting shop. So thanks for watching, guys. If this video sucked, you know what to do, but if it was awesome, get subscribed, hit that like button, or check out the link to where to buy the stuff we featured in the video description. Also linked down there is our merch store, which has cool shirts like, ooh, not like this one, and our community forum, which you should totally join.